All right, so let's get into actually the HemoHIM itself. Who needs to take HemoHIM? Well, if you're alive, you need to be taking HemoHIM. And, you know, I say that with a bit of a smile, but infants can take HemoHIM and centenarians can take HemoHIM. And on the box it says 6-year-olds and up, but infants can take it as well. You just give them little drops. If they have colic or they're being fussy, just, you know, a few drops or a quarter teaspoon in their mouth, or even just with the finger, because the energy of this substance is very, very powerful. The actual product itself is totally non-toxic, and it will not harm or kill anyone. And the way to know when you have a substance like aspirin or drugs, for instance, you know when that substance can kill is when there's a child safety cap. That is how you know that it can kill you. Because if it's something that anybody can take, yes, they might get sick and that they might get diarrhea. If they took a whole box full of HemoHIM, they're going to either vomit or they're going to have diarrhea, but they're not going to die. It's not poison, especially HemoHIM, because all the toxins have been removed. So do not be afraid to take too much HemoHIM. If you take too much, you're wasting it, but you can take a lot more than you think. Then it says on the package. That is just a maintenance dose. I'm going to go over how much people should take depending on their condition, but don't be afraid to give it to infants. Just a few drops, you know, in their mouth or even on your finger, because that can make a huge difference in their whole ability to function, especially if they're colicking or if they've got a fever. Just put some on in their mouth with a finger, and it'll do wonders. It's even good for pets, and I'm going to discuss that later. So who needs to take HemoHIM? Anybody that has an immune system that will be supported, anybody who wants to increase their vitality, HemoHIM is the answer. Very few people can't take it. So what kind of conditions does HemoHIM help with? So what I've done is these are pictures from my PDF that I think I gave the link to Ari, where actually if she can post it in the chats, that you can click on the link, like copy it and put it in your web browser. If you click on the link, you'll be able to access this document. It's a 4-page document. Actually, it's double-sided, where it's all about HemoHIM, and I go into a lot of detail because this is what I used to give to my patients, because some people need to read. Different people learn differently. Some people need to watch a video. Some people need to actually read the words. Some people need to hear it. So this was designed for getting more specific information. So I've just taken snapshots of parts of it. So what I've done is I've listed all the different conditions, health conditions, these specific herbs help with. So the first herb is Angelica. And this is about the only herb that most North Americans know. But Angelica has been around thousands of years, and it's one of the most powerful herbs that in Chinese medicine. But if you actually look at the function of every herb, then take that function and then you supercharge it, because of the way that those herbs were processed using the nuclear technology of taking the toxins out. You can take hundreds of more times of the active ingredients with no side effects. And that's not possible when you take a regular herb, like regular dong quai. You cannot take 500 times of the dose. I mean, that's just not possible. But you can with dong quai in HemoHIM, because of the toxins have been removed. And when you 10x the substance, you also 10x the toxins. And this is why you can't take too much herbs, etc., because it will make you very sick, but not with HemoHIM. And this is the key. And so I always call HemoHIM herbs on steroids. That's a really good analogy because you've got your herb, but you've just supercharged it. So if you look at the function of each of the herbs, then you can understand why HemoHIM can help with so many different conditions. So for instance, Angelica maintains hormone balance. For thousands of years, it's been used to mainly by women to regulate their hormones. So there you go. So this is why HemoHIM is so amazing for regulating the female hormones, but it also regulates other hormones like hormones that affects diabetes and affects blood pressure. It acts as an aphrodisiac. Incredible. That alone should, skyrocket the sale of HemoHIM if people knew that. Reduces menstrual problems. That is the number one reason that my daughter started to take it when she was 17, because she used to have severe cramps and she would lose a couple of days because she felt so bad. And as soon as she started taking HemoHIM, she only took one a day. Within 2 cycles, she didn't even know that she was starting her period. And so any of you that have children or teenagers going through this is one of the best things that you can do for them, because it regulates those hormones that are all out of whack, especially during when they're first starting their cycles. Treats premature ejaculation. Again, for men, incredible, because it helps with circulation of their blood. And blood tonic helps to generate more blood cells in the body. This is the key with respect to the main function of HemoHIM, which is stimulating the bone marrow to produce white blood cells and red blood cells. So Angelica is one of the top herbs that does that. It helps generate more blood cells in the body, so it acts as a blood tonic. And also HemoHIM is incredibly rich. Angelica in itself as a herb is nutrition. It has folic acid, biotin, B vitamins, nicotinic acid. It's a key ingredient in majority of the Chinese blood boosting formulas. So it purifies the blood, and it also helps to keep it thin, which prevents blood clots. Now that is a major, major plus with respect to COVID. What's COVID's main way of affecting people? Causes blood clots. And so I'm going to go over actually some of the recent developments with HemoHIM and treating of people with COVID, people who are suffering from the side effects of the vaccines or the shots. And I'm going to go over that later. So what does Angelica does? Reduces mood swings. Amazing for regulating the moods. Detoxifies the body, improves blood circulation. So a lot of the blood issues, Angelica is the one that's responsible for. Prevents anemia. This is huge. Most women are anemic. A lot of the tiredness that they have because they lose their blood every month. And those women that have very heavy periods, I guarantee you they will have anemia. Iron deficiency is very, very common. And yet it's very difficult to solve because supplemental iron is very hard to absorb, and also it causes a lot of constipation. And so Angelica has huge amounts of bioavailable iron in itself. So when you take that herb, you're actually getting the iron that your body can use very easily. It can be absorbed immediately. And I've had several people with pretty severe anemia where supplements weren't helping them, and they were getting iron infusions every month just to survive, basically, or else they'd be sleeping on the couch the whole month. And within 6 weeks of taking HemoHIM, they could stop the iron infusions. Within 3 days, they noticed a huge change in their energy level because your blood, the red blood cells, actually turn over very quickly. Usually within 3 days, it's making new ones. So within 3 to 4 days of taking HemoHIM, they can notice a huge change in their iron, in their energy level. And that means that they were anemic. And so that is a huge issue with most women. And so people who, after they've been taking HemoHIM, even for a few days, and they notice a huge surge in their energy, that usually means that they were anemic and that their body's making more red blood cells. The word hemo stands for hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein in the red blood cells that requires the iron, and the hemoglobin, its main function is to transport oxygen to every cell in your body, the trillions of cells in your body. And so if you don't have enough hemoglobin because you don't have enough iron, then your ability to get the oxygen to all those cells decreases greatly. So that is one reason why everyone should be taking HemoHIM consistently. So unexplained fatigue, people who get brain fog because you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain cells, it's huge. Anemia can cause so many problems because just your body's just not getting enough oxygen to all the cells. You'll be tired, you won't be able to think, which means that can cause accidents, that can cause a lot of problems. So also it fights depression. I mean, because again, it works in the brain, right? It has the ability to improve your mood, lessen anxiety, depression, anxiety, a lot of mental issues, fights stress, which is rampant nowadays. So HemoHIM is an incredible product to help with the brain function. Also antioxidant capacity. So lots of functions there. And we're still on Dong Quai. So Dong Quai is the most powerful herb of those three. Improves heart health, skin care, works as an anti-inflammatory and antibacterial substance for the skin. And so it helps with alopecia, which is hair loss, psoriasis, eczema, lessening the discomfort appearance of these skin afflictions quickly. It works amazingly well. In kids, usually within 3 or 4 days. You can tell huge differences in their skin quality. And you can also use HemoHIM topically. So those who have eczema, etc., just put them on topically and it will help with the itchiness and swelling as well. But very, very good for within a couple of weeks. People with a lot of skin issues, after taking HemoHIM, notice a difference with their skin. Bone strength. Those who have bone density issues like osteoporosis, Dong Quai will also help strengthen that as well. So those that's huge for the older people who have lost a lot of bone density. It's imperative that they take HemoHIM. Lowers blood sugar levels. So this is where the diabetics, this will end. Also diabetics and people with irregular blood sugar levels, like the hypoglycemics. They have high blood sugar and then it just crashes. So it helps to actually regulate. And Dong Quai is also an amazing anti-inflammatory. So it reduces inflammation in all kinds of people, and it will actually reduce the inflammatory markers of C-reactive protein. And so it's very important to fight off foreign organisms with if you have too much inflammation, your ability to fight off different organisms goes down drastically. All right, so let's get to, this is the only side effects, but it may not be a side effect. Dong Quai, as I mentioned, helps to keep your blood thin. Your blood it's much better for your blood to be thin than too thick. And I'm not going to go into the blood types, etc., but different blood types have a different blood thickening effect. Blood type A's, like myself, like my dad, we tend to have thicker blood, and blood type O's tend to have thinner blood. So we have a higher tendency to get heart disease because our blood is thicker. So thinning your blood is much better than having thick blood. And so Dong Quai is a blood thinner, but it is not a huge blood thinner. It has an effect of thinning the blood. So one of the things is that a lot of people are on blood thinners. So if they're on blood thinners, they want to really keep an eye on their blood thinning numbers, meaning get your blood tested. the key is to take less of the coumarin, which is a blood thinner, the drug, the pharmaceutical blood thinner, because that's actually rat poison. That's how they kill rats, is that when rats take the blood thinner, all their blood vessels basically explode and they die. Okay, so you want to get rid of the pharmaceutical blood thinners and have a natural regular blood thinning effect from Dong Quai, which is not going to give you side effects like the pharmaceuticals. Okay, so so this is the only factor you want to be careful with if somebody's on blood thinners. You want to make sure that if they're on blood thinners just for prevention, then they can take Dong Quai. They just have to monitor their pharmaceuticals. And allergy. If they have any allergic reactions to cilantro, celery, or dill, then they're not going to be able to take HemoHIM because it's in the same family as Dong Quai. So just that is the only problem there. But very, very few people are allergic to celery or dill or cilantro. But you need to ask, okay? And also people who are pregnant should not be taking HemoHIM because Dong Quai or Angelica can maybe give them some cramping, etc. And we want to make sure there's absolutely no negative effects during pregnancy. Lactation as well, and people who have a lot of cramps during menstruation. During menstruation, we advise them not to take the HemoHIM, but they take it when they're not on their cycle to prevent the cramping later. Okay, so not during the cramping, but on the off days. So that's the only side effects you want to really look at. Visticum is the second herb, and this has some incredible properties. One of its top properties, the anti-inflammatory properties. Anywhere where there's swelling, almost all of the health conditions that people, chronic health conditions people suffer now from is from too much swelling. Whether it's too much swelling in their digestive system, in their joints, all over the place. If you can bring the swelling down, then a lot of the body will function better. And so they've done a lot of actual tests and experiments with actually comparing HemoHIM with a prescription anti-inflammatory, and HemoHIM came out just as good as a prescription anti-inflammatory, or even better, with 0 side effects. Now that's the key. And so a lot of people who have arthritis, chronic arthritis, it could be 20, 30 years. I've had this with lots of my patients, and within 3-4 days, tell me, all my pain is gone. Even though their joints are all basically fused, etc. If the swelling goes, a lot of the pain goes because it's the swelling that squeezes the nerves around those joints, which causes most of the pain. So anti-inflammatory effects are huge for HemoHIM. Also, the Visticum has analgesic properties, which means pain-killing properties. The anti-inflammatory and the pain-killing properties came in huge for me when I had a major horse accident early August. Basically, my horse fell on top of me. We both fell. I'm only 115 pounds. My horse is 1,200 pounds. So needless to say, I was crushed. I broke my collarbone at the edge, and I broke 7 ribs on this right side. I was in the hospital for 5 days, and I had a concussion as well. And I don't remember the whole day because obviously I had a concussion. But when I woke up in the hospital, my purse was on the ledge, and I had 2 HemoHIMs there. So I didn't even know what had happened, but I knew is that I was in pain. I took 2 right away. My friend, who also takes HemoHIM, she went and grabbed her box from home, got me HemoHIM. I took 4 more that night. I slept that night, and I didn't have to take any painkillers. I didn't have to take any anti-inflammatories. I could sleep, even though although I had this kind of sleep sitting up, I could actually go to sleep, which means that's when I could heal. And I had to stay in the hospital for 5 days because I couldn't move because of the break. But as soon as I could move, within about 5 days, I could actually get out of bed. That's when I could go home. So I wasn't on any medication from the moment of waking up from the hospital. That is the power of HemoHIM. It totally took away the inflammation. It took away the pain, and I was able to be comfortable in the sleep, and I could sleep right through. And the only time it hurt was when I coughed or laughed or had to move, but that was just temporary. But if I didn't move, it was fine. Within 2 weeks, I could actually wash my hair and I could breathe. It's incredible how fast I recovered. And all when I got my checkup, my orthopedic surgeon took the x-rays, etc. I could not believe how fast I healed. Probably 3 to 4 times faster than I would have without HemoHIM. So going on, has antibacterial properties, antifungal properties. I've met several people with fingernail fungus, toenail fungus, couldn't get rid of them within a month, all gone. Sedative properties, lessens anxiety in people, it can help you sleep. So those people who have trouble sleeping, I suggest you take this about a half hour before going to sleep. Those of you who have issues with what's the word, with your adrenals, I suggest you don't take them after 7 o'clock because they'll give you a second wind. So people with chronic fatigue, don't take it past 7 o'clock until that's settled. Treats anemia. Again, there's a second one, treating anemia, headaches, female reproductive, abnormal menstrual issues. So a lot of health issues here. So again, improving heart health, skin care, strengthens bones. I think this is done quick. No. Okay. So let's go to peonia. The last herb, blood tonic again, digestive intestinal issues. Anybody with any digestive problems, HemoHIM will help to regulate. Heart health, brain function, healing powers, valuable for healing and rejuvenating powers. So this came in very handy for me when I was injured. Nerve pain and headaches, people with migraines, people with any kind of nerve dysfunction. Me as a chiropractor, I saw a lot of people with nerve issues, and HemoHIM was just tremendously effective in helping settle nerves. And nerve pain is one of the hardest pains to get rid of because your body does not want to deaden the nerves. Because you deaden the nerves, nothing works. So that's why it's very difficult to take any kind of medication that will actually work with nerve pain. But with HemoHIM, it will actually help calm the nerves. Energy and awareness for stress. It's nothing like HemoHIM to help you handle stress better. It's an adaptogenic herb, which means it helps to regulate your body so that it will help you adapt to what's happening. And obviously the immune system. So I've gone through a lot of different conditions. So this is what I mean by HemoHIM. If somebody says, does it help me with such and such? Just say yes, because it will, because it works at such a deeper level with the blood, with inflammations, with antibacterial, antifungal, blood tonics. So no matter what condition that person is suffering from, it's going to help them. And this is why it's such a general overall supplement. And so it's not for one particular condition per se, because if they're taking it for sleep, but they don't get good sleep, but they get 5 more other problems clearing up, and then they complain that they're not sleeping well, it means their body's not ready to look after that yet. So you ask them, well, has there been anything that's changed in your life since? Is your skin better? How's your digestion? There's so many other things that the body has to look after before it looks after the one thing that person might be aware of. right? So I always ask people, make a list of all the different issues that you're suffering from, and then put it away, and then look at that list in a month, and then see if you're still suffering from that, because you tend to forget. People, we adapt so quickly to good things, and we adapt really quickly to bad things. We normalize it. So if you don't write it down, if you don't journal, you don't realize what's changed. So this is actually also, I've taken from the PDF, which all of you should get, because you're going to get all that information in that PDF. But I kind of outlined how to take HemoHIM, because everybody is different. You have to adjust it according to the person. So people who are on the box, it says 2 a day. That is just a general maintenance dose. But some people need 6 a day. Some people can only take half a day, half a package a day. So you have to be, be a little bit questioning as to what that person is like, and always err on the side of caution. It's much better to start with less and move up than start with too much and have the person react negatively, and then they don't want to take it anymore. Because once you have a negative reaction, people get scared. So always tell them what may happen as a reaction, even though it's not really a reaction, it's just the body working, but people don't know. If they are told ahead, then when it happens, they're not scared, they're not afraid, and they go, oh, this is what Sue told me would happen, so it's happened. Okay, I'm fine with that. So always take the time to really understand how to tell people how to take HemoHIM, because the last thing you want to do is scare them off so that they don't benefit from the incredible value of HemoHIM. That's what I'm always afraid of. So always start slow and then work their way up. And so that if they take it too fast, then they know it was their fault, and they can always back up, right? So people who have very hypersensitive to taste and smells, or they have sensitive stomachs, really increase the HemoHIM gradually. Okay, it's always better to start slow. Even just a couple of teaspoons in a bit of water that they can sip throughout the day would be a good start. And you know who these people are, because they're going to tell you, oh, I can't take this, I can't take that. Then then you're going to take it really slow, and they'll appreciate it. Okay, so for some people, a couple of teaspoons in a full glass of water, and just have them sip a little bit throughout the day. That's pretty easy to do, and they can keep the rest in the fridge. And the next day, they don't have any issues with their digestion, etc. Then have them take 4 teaspoons. So read through this and slowly just keep upping it, because one package has 2 tablespoons, 20 milliliters. Okay, so you just increase the dose, and you can do this for children as well. Just have them take 1 or 2 teaspoons throughout the day. People with sensitive stomachs, they also should be taking HemoHIM with food, preferably at the end of the meal. Again, with food, it won't irritate their stomach as much. As they take HemoHIM more frequently and regularly, their sensitive stomachs will heal. So tell them that it will actually eventually heal the sensitive stomachs, and they'll be able to take more HemoHIM, and their digestive system will calm down, right? So the typical dose is 2 packages per day, but depending on the current health status of the person, it can range anywhere between 1 to 6 a day. So for children, you might give them half, depending on what they're suffering from. And for people with a lot of health issues, they've got 2, 3 different health conditions, or suffering from cancer, active cancer, you can move them up to 6 a day, or as much as they can handle. Some people, they can't take more than 4 a day. Everyone's going to be different. So you work them up slowly, and if they can take 6 a day, you have them take 2, 3 times a day. And if they're strong stomachs, etc., then they can take in between meals. That is the optimum. But if they have weak digestive systems, have them take it with their meals. I don't care whether they take it with their meals or empty stomach. The key is to get it in their system. Okay, that's the key. It won't do them any good unless it's in their system. So children over 6 can take HemoHIM. Just adjust the dose according to the child. Get them gradually to use the taste. That's the biggest challenge with kids. Get them used to the taste by giving them very small amounts in juice, add honey, sugar, whatever you need to do to get it tasting it. Because after maybe 5 or 6 or 7 tries, their palate gets used to the taste, and it won't be such an issue. But actually, even 6-year-olds, if you tell them this is not going to taste too good, but it's really going to help with your whatever condition they're suffering from, you'll be surprised how compliant they will be, because they know it's a medicine that they expect it to not taste great, but they will suck it up and do it. A lot of times kids are much better than adults, believe you me, because I've treated enough kids. The key is to treat them with respect and explain to them why they're taking this. I had a 10-year-old girl with severe eczema on her face for over 2 years. The only thing that kept it under control was a really powerful, strong steroid cream. Even if she missed 1 day, it would start spreading. 4 days of HemoHIM, 1 package a day. She worked it up to half, but by the time she took 1 pack a day, within 4 days, it all cleared up. That's how fast kids respond, because their energy level is so high. The herbs work really well.
구독, 좋아요 눌러주세요.